Do you remember once when I came to Italy on my own? It was summer. Must have been, what, 11? Dad put me on a train in London, and you were supposed to pick me up in Genoa, but something happened and you didn't show up. Well, what I mean is you did eventually show up. It was like a day later. I remember all the trains had arrived and all the people had been greeted by their families or friends. And I sat there watching them and waited to spot your face in the crowd. But it got dark and you never came. It must have been about, what, 1 in the morning? I was lying on this bench when this man approached me. He asked if I was okay. I said that I was, and that I was waiting for my mother, and that she'd be there soon, and I'd wait there until she came. And then he asked me, why don't you come back to my house and get something to eat? And you can take some rest, and I'll bring you back in the morning. And even though I knew it was wrong to follow this man back to his house, I just stood up, followed him. Part of me was thinking, this'll show her. This'll show her. This'll fucking show her. So we walked through the streets of Genoa, and eventually we got to this old building. His house was on the top floor. So he opened the door, and he let me in. He asked me to take a seat, and gave me a glass of wine. Made some joke about not telling my parents. Then he cooked. He made some pasta in a tomato sauce. I could see that he was nervous, and his hands were shaking slightly, and the wine was whooshing around in my head. I asked to use the bathroom, so he walked me down the hall and showed me where it was. I remember the light in the bathroom was dim, as if the bulb was broken or something. So as I looked in the mirror, I could only just see my face. I stood there for some time, staring at myself and wondering why you hadn't shown up at the station. And as I stood there, trying to see my face in the mirror, I heard him breathing on the other side of the door. So he'd been there all this time, outside the door. I tried to open the door, but it was jammed, as if he'd blocked it from the outside. And then it opened, and he wasn't there. He was back in the kitchen. So I went back, and then we ate. And then he asked me if I wanted to sleep with him in his bed. And I said that I didn't. So he got some sheets out of a cupboard and made the sofa into a bed. And he said that he'd wake me up at 6 a.m. and take me back to the station. Which he did. But it's just lately, I can't seem to get that night out of my head. I keep seeing myself trying to find my face in the mirror of that dim-lit bathroom in that old building, in that strange and foreign city. Where were you? Where were you? Where were you? You were never there. You were never there.